Brooks, welcome back to the show. It's been a minute.
It's not only been a minute, it's been a couple days actually, but we're back, baby.
Yep, life gets in the way, stuff happens, bad things happen to good people. Just remember that. But we got a lot to talk about today, so let's jump into it.
Welcome to the greatest podcast on earth, Nothing Agreed. We have a great show for you tonight, so stay tuned and buckle up.
Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of Nothing Agreed. Back with the boys. Today. Baron,
What's
glasses
up?
come off because we're getting serious now.
Boy.
We are here. Week 9 in the books. We didn't get to preview it. We didn't get to dog of the day. You were just really, really ill.
Yes, food poisoning.
Oh, dang. Well,
Yeah.
you were really ill. We didn't get to preview week 9. I thought it'd be also a little unfair if I chose my dog of the day and you didn't. That just doesn't make sense either.
I would have allowed it. Don't worry.
All right, buddy. But yeah, it probably wouldn't have mattered anyways. But
Exactly.
but no, we've now got week 9 in the books. Most importantly, today when we're
Yep.
recording this, end of the NFL trade deadline. Today was the trade deadline, and we have some moves to talk about.
Some
Wait,
deals
wait.
are done.
No. What's the first question I ask every episode?
How are you doing?
How you doing? How's everything going?
Yeah, it's all right. How are you doing?
Busy, can't complain. It's
Yeah.
life. Life gets in the way, like we said at the start of the episode. So
Mhm.
it happens.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot to talk about, so we're gonna skip
Yeah,
the
we do.
pleasantries today.
Let's
I think
go
we should
through it,
just.
baby.
I think we just start with the trade deadline. Honestly.
I agree.
Yeah. Do you want to do transaction by transaction, or you kind of want to do team
I'm
by
going to do an
team?
overall brief here for a second.
Go for it.
I just want to do an overall brief. Winner of my trade deadline is the New York Jets.
Mm-hmm.
They won the trade deadline. I know you lose Sauce.
Fire
I know-
sale over there.
I know you lose Quinn Williams. Honestly, if they did trade Garrett Wilson, maybe that would be a loss to me because I think that would be a loss. But I think moving on from Williams, who
Mhm.
is of course getting up there a little bit,
He's
as well
gonna-
as Sauce, who's now going to hit that big deal, right? That big corner contract. You get 2 first rounders for him. I mean, you get a first rounder for Williams. You get 3 first rounders. Now you have 7 first rounders in I think 3 years and 5 in the next 2.
They have 2 first-round picks this year, 2 second-round
3.
picks this year, and 3
Yeah.
first-round picks next year.
Yeah, and I mean that is a boatload of talent that's going to come into a team that is
Mhm.
going to be rebuilding. So
Yeah. I really
that's
like it as
needed,
well.
necessary. First time Woody Johnson, I feel like in my lifetime has made a really good move.
Yeah, it's fair. I really like the Quentin Williams trade. I think that's
Yeah.
a very, very good trade, especially because he's kind of like Sauce Gardner is going to warrant a lot of money coming off the end of his contract. He's all, like you said, he's getting up there in age, and he doesn't really bring a lot to a team that's looking to rebuild over the next couple of years. So I really like that move. I think I feel like what you got for Sauce Gardner was really good. 2 first-round picks. I personally would not have given that up. I think the Colts are a little ambitious by that, but I think their logic is those first-round picks will be basically second-round picks. So we'll see if that's the case. We'll certainly talk about this week here in a minute. But yes, I think the Jets clearing their roster is a good thing. Definitely going to be looking to maybe add a quarterback over the next couple of drafts. So yeah, we'll see what those kind of prospects look like. But there's a lot of talent they can take with these draft picks if they do it correctly, which they've proven that they can with the picks of Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, stuff like that. But like you said, it's the Jets. But while the Jets were a big team that was selling this weekend, there was another big team that was buying this weekend, Brooks. Is there anything you want to say about it? You just want to let me tackle it?
I'll let you go first since I took the onus on the sell.
All right, perfect. Well, the Philadelphia Eagles, the Wolf of Broad Street, has struck again. 3 trades over this weekend, and let's just go through them. The first one doesn't make a ton of sense to me personally. Michael Carter, he's a great player. He's been a top 5 player in his position, which is the nickel position, ever since he stepped into the league. My only thing is we already have arguably the best nickel corner on the roster. We kind of needed an outside corner. Michael Carter's a very small guy, so he doesn't add a ton of, I guess, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but he doesn't seem to fit that position in my mind.
It's not a needle mover because you already were really good at that position.
My theory is they might experiment with DeJean on the outside.
That's
so
what I was about to say.
We'll see how that goes. I actually am not a fan of that. I think what makes Cooper DeJean the best nickel corner in the league is his ability to open field tackle. He's an immense addition to the run game from that position, and yeah, he can tackle like no one else in that position can. So I personally would want him to stay there, but they kind of threw another guy in the mix, trading a late round pick for Jair Alexander from the Ravens. This is a guy who hasn't played a lot this season, has been on the bottom of their depth chart. And it's been a big question mark for him since the start of the season. Why doesn't he play? Is he injured? Is he not? This was one of the, I think it still is the worst secondary in the league, the Ravens. Why wasn't he contributing to that if you went out and got him? So that's a big question mark. We'll kind of see how that works with the Eagles. But cornerback really wasn't the position I wanted them to go after in the trade deadline. Mainly because Jacorian Bennett was coming off IR, and I'm still really high on him. We needed to go get an edge rusher, and they did just that. Jalen Phillips from the Miami Dolphins to the Philadelphia Eagles for a third-round pick. Now, this is an interesting move because he's on an expiring deal, and unless he plays out of his mind, he's probably not going to get re-signed long-term by the Eagles. They might franchise tag him this next season. We'll see. But Vic Fangio loves him. He's a very injury-prone player as well. That is something to remember. But, yeah, third-round pick for a maybe one-year rental. And if he does leave, that turns into a cut-and-top, whatever they call it. The Dolphins have to give us a pick or something. And if it's their pick, then it's really not that bad of a pick.
Compensatory pick.
That's how you say it. I think it would be like if he leaves, they'd have to give us their fourth-round pick. And someone did the math based on how we'll only be moving back like 20 spots or something. So I really don't hate that at all if it's for a one-year rental, because this is a guy that can come in, produce immediate impact with Nolan Smith coming off IR, Brandon Graham returning into the mix, and Jalen Hunt's still there. A lot of people are still high on him, waiting for him to break out. So this defense definitely went out and retooled this weekend, and I'm excited. As most fans should be.
As the Eagles always do in the last couple of years, buy. After they sold a lot and got a lot of picks, they can do it. I think personally the Michael Carter trade, I'm not too angry at it because at least in that position sometimes having depth can be really crucial.
Mm-hmm.
And if they run 4 wide receivers, they run a 2 split, you got 2 nickel guys that can hold it. You're good. 2 slot corners that can do really well. It kind of leaves that one-on-one outside ball. And that's where I'm a little concerned with the Eagles is if it goes to that one-on-one outside ball, I do have more faith in Quinyon Mitchell than whoever's going to be on the other side.
Oh, absolutely.
So whoever's the wide receiver on the other side, you got to hope that it's at least an even matchup. So
and they've definitely got options now because I think ideally Jair Alexander can come in and he's healthy and can just even a fraction of what he was last year. That's good enough. No one's going to want to throw that side of the ball. Jacorian Bennett, if he comes back, he had a great preseason. He had a great couple of first games before he got injured when he played. Again, like I said, I'm really high on him. I think he can also do it. I do like the shout for depth. Depth is always an important thing, and we didn't really give up much. It was like John Mechie in a 7th or something, so we weren't like giving up much for this pick, but it was a little head scratching when it came through, at least to me. But I'm not mad at it.
Alexander, I don't think is going to help you at all, to be honest. I think Jair Alexander is on the back pedal of his career, and I don't think he'll actually move much either. So it's just a name trade to me.
I think that's just a more hopeful sort of thing. Again, you traded a 6th for him in a 7th. That's not a terrible trade, and who knows? Maybe he comes in, takes a couple weeks off, and then come playoff time, he's this exact same player he was for a couple weeks. So if that's all they got him for, then I'm ecstatic for that because that'll be great. But yeah, like I said, still a lot of things up in the air, but definitely got some more tools to play with.
There you go.
But there's another big trade to talk about before we move on, and that's also with the Dallas Cowboys acquiring Logan Wilson from the Bengals. I guess
wouldn't
there's
call that
another
a
big one.
big trade.
They were looking for a guy in that position.
Seventh rounder.
Jerry Jones has been adamant about adding someone to that position. And I
Seventh
do think that
rounder
was
for
one of the
Logan
better
Wilson.
players the Bengals had.
I mean, I think it's a good trade for the value. Got it. Seventh rounder, you're not taking much of a swing and a miss. So, yeah,
All right. Well, Raheed Shaheed went to the Seahawks as well.
I like that trade for the Seahawks. I like it. A big speed guy. JSN to me, I don't think of him as a speed guy. I don't think of Torrey Horton as like a speed guy. Shaheed is that deep ball speed guy, so I like it.
Yeah, that definitely helped Sam Darnold out a lot. Interesting they didn't want to move off of Chris Olave, though, even though his name was starting to be floated around. I feel like you could have gotten a second from the Bills for him.
I don't know how much you get for Chris Olave because of how much you want to move on from your franchise wide receiver. You know?
That's also fair, but I don't know how long he'd want to stay, assuming this team's looking to enter a rebuild because they clearly haven't found their quarterback yet. So, yeah. There's one other thing I was going to say. If I can't remember it, we'll just move on.
We'll move on.
If it pops back up, then it does. But, let's just start with Thursday Night Football then. Not really much to talk about. Lamar Jackson came back and balled out. That's basically it. Dolphins. I think they're just kind of accepting defeat at this point. I think they fired their general manager last week. Some other coaching changes. Yeah. They were shopping a lot of their players. They traded one of their better ones. So, yeah. I think they're kind of out on the season.
As they were kind of a couple weeks ago as well. So.
But, yeah, Ravens, do we have a shot? Late season push?
Oh, yeah, they have a shot. And when you have Lamar Jackson, you always have a shot. So
what about that defense, though?
They've been looking better the last couple weeks. Who'd
they play last week?
They held them to low amount of points. I remember. They played when they had Tyler Huntley in. Who'd they beat? The Bears. They beat the Bears, and they held the Bears like 15 points.
You know what? That's respectable.
Thank you.
Dolphins, I'm not impressed. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
Bears, that's respectable. I'll take
my
that.
team. I'm thoroughly impressed. Watching my football team go.
That's what's next. Do you want to take it?
Can we not take it? Wow. Raheem Morris and Zach Robinson to be fired. We go this every week. We know this to be the truth. Say dog, see dog. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, get out of here. Time to move on. That's all I gotta say. I still have faith in. I don't know why people are losing their faith in Penix. I completely disagree with that.
I think he's still.
He's still good.
Yeah,
he's good.
He just has to put it together consistently.
Agreed. I think he's good. Just he does not play an offense that suits him. So we gotta keep that in mind.
No, he doesn't. Raheem Morris needs to go.
It's time to go.
Yeah. I don't really know what else to say.
Other than that, my final
defense
thought
played well.
is I've been, I got a little bit of flack from friends and people and actually DMs because I am not a big fan of Parker Romo. Never was. Even after that 5-for-5 performance at Minnesota, his 4 inside 45 or like 40 were all like either over the crossbar or over the posts or just sneaking inside. I said it's just gonna bite us one time, and it bit us. And if you don't have confidence in your kicker to kick from 50 in this day and age, you need to get him out. So Zane Gonzalez, welcome to the team.
Yeah. Yeah. Good game by the Patriots. Kind of. I thought Drake May could have played a little bit better, but Falcons defense is pretty good. Can't be too mad at it. Almost won there, but we'll get them next time, champ. Chargers, Titans.
Chargers did their business after falling down early. Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater out for the year.
But they did. We should have probably talked about this. They just traded for the Saints lineman, Penning. What's the dude's first name?
Last name.
What's his last name? Trevor's his first name. So Trevor Penning going to the Chargers to
What's his last
reinforce that offensive line. Did I say what's his last name?
Yeah, you were like, "What's his last name?" I was like, "You just said it, big dog."
Oh, my fault. On that first
Yeah,
name.
no, you're worried. No, don't need to apologize.
All right. Well, Trevor Penning's going to the Chargers to help reinforce that offensive line after losing both starting tackles and their running backs. Chargers still second in their division with a crucial win and a loss by the Chiefs, which we'll get to, but playoff hopes are still very much alive, even though this team is battered and beaten. And I would argue that the Chargers teams of past would probably give in and quit at this point of the season, but not these Jim Harbaugh-led Chargers. They're hunkering down and preparing for that long battle.
Yeah, I mean, good team, good win, but
It was scary, but yeah.
scared for them this year, man, because losing both tackles, that's like one of your most premium positions in the world. So
So we'll see how they thug it out. Their offense seems to be adapting to that. A lot of more quick throwing, a lot of draw plays. So yeah, I think Jim Harbaugh is gonna steer the ship in at least the right direction this time, though. But we've got the game of the year so far to talk about next, and that is the Bears and the Bengals. And guess who sat on my fantasy bench this week?
Roma Dunza,
Nope.
Colson Loveland,
Nope.
Caleb Williams,
Nope.
T. Higgins, Joe Flacco.
There you go.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
Joe Flacco was on the bench in my other friends league. I started Caleb Williams this week. Good week for me.
Joe Flacco will be starting next week.
I'm on a
of Trevor
5-game win
Lawrence.
streak in my fantasy league.
I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, the Bears. What a great game. And the Bengals, I guess. But that defense is terrible. That defense is abysmal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole team's frustrated. Do you think we see a trade request from one of these star players at some point in this upcoming offseason?
No.
Jamar Chase seemed very frustrated.
No, he'll have Joe Burrow back, and then he'll be happy again. So,
But I mean, if Joe Burrow was in that game, they probably would have still lost too. So
I think T. Higgins is gonna get traded.
he's gone.
I think he's
But
get traded.
I think they realize they can't pay two wide receivers wide receiver one money and expect and then
And T. Higgins is a wide receiver 1. So
yeah. But I don't know, Brooks. I think it's a very good argument to say that if Joe Burrow was in that game the other day, the results would have been the exact same.
Yeah, it's not Joe Flacco's fault at all.
No,
So
I'm just saying at some point, even with Joe Burrow, do you think Jamar Chase is going to look at this front office and say, are you going to give me a defense or not? Even Joe Burrow,
I think
perhaps.
Joe Burrow will say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
I don't
big
think
issue.
I think, well, in terms of NFL politics, wide receivers request trades much more than quarterbacks. A quarterback requesting a trade is almost unheard of.
Quarterbacks are again the premium position and the number 1 position. So
I don't know. Jamar Chase's days in Cincinnati might be starting to get numbered if he doesn't feel like that organization's going in the right direction, because he's way too good of a talent for this to be the medium for that team.
Yeah.
They need to be competing for the playoffs, which they have been, but they didn't last year, and they probably aren't going to this year. So if this is the new norm for the Bengals, I would keep my eye on Jamar Chase because he might want to go play for someone else.
Yep.
But let's move on to the next game. One of the top dogs fell this week, Brooks. I know you were never high on them, but the Colts were beaten by the Steelers.
What did I say, baby? What did I say? That's all I gotta say.
I don't know what you need to say. They're going to be fine.
I said, what did I say? And that is, when the Colts play a winning football team, let's see what happens. Because all they've played the bottom teams in the league. And they've done well because my team can't beat the bottom teams in the league, but they've done well by beating the bottom teams in the league. And guess what? There you go.
Yeah, I still think they're going to be all right. I think this was just a bad week for them. And you look at the Steelers defense, everyone sees the memes. They were having a funeral for them outside in the parking lot, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, I thought I'll give credit where the credit's due. Steelers defense has been playing better week by week. I was very low on them after the start of the season, after the 40 bomb they allowed to the Jets, and then another bad defensive performance. But they've slowly been putting it back together, and I'll give them their credit. But I'm not worried about this Colts team. I think they're gonna be just fine.
I'm worried.
Because you look at
I
a
am
game,
worried.
where they had 6 offensive turnovers. They only lost by 7 points. Now
Yeah, but you're scoreboard watching here.
I can go look at the stats though.
You're scoreboard watching. It was a 7-point game because they started like bouncing it near the end, but it was kind of consolation to me.
Oh,
I mean, to me, also you lost to the Steelers, and the Steelers are not good. We talked about the defensive struggles, and offensively, we're not looking at the Steelers' offense and going, "Whoa," you know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
But we also know this is a Mike Tomlin led team, and that they have to stay somewhat close to 9-8. So this could just be prophesized. But my whole thing is they did a great job with containing Jonathan Taylor and
exactly.
making Daniel Jones play uncomfortable. But the Colts can figure out how to combat that, then they're going to be right back on track. Because to me, in my mind, when you commit 6 offensive turnovers, it should be a blowout compared to like their 1.
So I'm saying the Steelers' offense is not that good.
And yeah, that's what I think. I think the Colts defense only got better with the addition of Sauce Gardner. So yeah, I think they're going to be just fine. Maybe they won't win the AFC, but they're definitely winning that division, and they'll probably make the divisional round and have a home game if I had to put money on it. But we'll move on. Not much to talk about here. The 49ers beat down on the Giants, lost some more key defensive players in this game. How sustainable is this 49ers win streak?
Yeah, I think it's sustainable. I genuinely am so impressed with the job Salah's doing at defensive coordinator. I'm so impressed by it.
Yeah, that's very
that
fair.
That offense is rolling, and Christian McCaffrey is the helm in the heart of that offense.
Yeah, I will say though, if they had, because remember they were last in their division last year, so they're playing all these bottom feeder teams. If they had any sort of a harder schedule, I think it would be a different case, just based on their injury history and who they have on that team. But I think they were a team that got very injured last year and just kind of shut down, and is now kind of not benefiting, but enjoying the easier competition while they know they're a better team. But that is a hard division in football. We'll finish the episode with that. So we'll wait and come back around. Giants, wait till next year. That's when it'll get good. Broncos, Texans.
Texans would have won the game if CJ Stroud didn't get injured. Boom. Next question.
Yeah,
That's all I have to say.
I think I agree with you, actually. Not a good showing from the Broncos, if I'm being completely honest. Defensively, they were fine, but Bo Nix.
But they do that every week. They do that every week where it's like, is this really the best Broncos can play? And they still win.
Yeah, that's true. What was it? I think it was their fourth quarter comeback this season or something like that.
Yeah.
So, tied for top of the AFC, not just the AFC East or the AFC West, the AFC. Are they going to keep that, Brooks?
In the AFC West?
Mm-hmm. At least they're 1 seed.
I don't think they keep it.
What are they? They're 2 games up on the Chiefs right now?
Yeah. I think they could maybe hold the West, the 1 seed. I don't think they keep.
I don't think they keep the 1 seed. I could see the West though.
Who do you think gets the 1 seed? Because honestly, I think the Bills are still a sneaky 1 seed option.
They are.
I'm still not highly tout as the Patriots coming out as the winner in the AFC East.
I have to wait and see that next divisional game, and I have to wait and see Colts and Patriots. Yeah, it might still be Colts, honestly. I mean, they just have.
I don't think so.
I
honestly like the Bills. I think the Bills can come and get that 1 seed.
We'll see. But yeah, I don't know. AFC's interesting this year, but we gotta take it back to the NFC.
Take it
back. Vikings and Lions.
Well, what'd you say about JJ McCarthy, by the way?
That he wasn't good. He played fine. He played fine.
Okay. Okay.
think
Big
it's-
win for JJ.
Yeah,
Big
it
win.
was a huge win. It's got to be consistent though.
His only career loss to the Atlanta Falcons. But
Didn't he lose the first game? Was he injured?
no, they beat the Bears.
They won that game.
Yeah, they came back down.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
like-
You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah, in the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah, because he had
Yeah.
he had 3 terrible quarters and then 1 good one. Yeah,
Yep,
I do
there was
remember.
like he played bad for 7 out of 8 quarters. Yeah. JJ McCarthy, man, goes into Ford Field, goes into Detroit, 10-point dog, and wins outright. JJ, have yourself a fucking day.
It was a good showing.
It was a good show. Yes, a great showing.
Great,
A great showing.
Great's a bit of a
You-
stretch.
You-
I
you're
remember
winning quarterback, you go
I know a
Ford Field.
quarterback that would get ridiculed for this stat line actually. So, win or lose. So yeah, I'm not gonna say much more about that, but it was a good showing from the kid. Hopefully, he can keep it
From the
consistent.
kid.
Maybe I'll stop talking bad about him, but like I said, it's got to stay consistent. Like I've been saying, this is a team that has Super Bowl aspirations. This is a team that's built to compete for a Super Bowl. All they were really needing is that quarterback piece. So if he can pull it all together, then yeah, they're going to be rolling. But definitely a huge road win in the division. I don't think they've won in Ford Field in like 3 years or something like that. So that's a pretty big get back right game, I guess. Yeah. How worried are we about the Lions though?
I think they're a wild card team.
I do too. Trade David Montgomery in the offseason. I hate him. We can move on. Why are you giving more touches to him than Jahmyr Gibbs? Why? Exactly. There's not a single thing that David Montgomery can do that Jahmyr Gibbs can't do better.
Power running.
Nah, I'd rather have Jahmyr Gibbs. Get him off the team, trade him for a 3rd-round pick. The Bengals would love him. Let's move on. One of the biggest games of the week as well, Panthers and Packers.
Who is your Super Bowl favorite right now? Okay. All right. I just don't understand the league this year. It's really interesting. Really interesting.
I've been saying this for weeks. If you're about to say the Packers aren't that good.
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm saying the Packers are inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Packers are actually one of the best built football teams in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we're talking on paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking Jordan Love, who should be a pretty good quarterback, and in my opinion, top 12.
That's
So you have yourself an upper echelon QB.
Mm-hmm.
You have yourself Josh Jacobs, who is a very good running back.
Mm-hmm.
You have yourself wide receivers. Jaden Reed is out, I know that, but you have yourself wide receivers all over the board. You're not top heavy in that position, but you have all over the board. The defense, you have one of the best pass rushers in the league. You have a good stout defense, and you just can't get it done. And it's week in, week out. You don't know what Packers you're gonna get. Mostly it's been good Packers, but they're remember, their 2 losses are the Panthers and the Browns.
Right.
Their one tie is the Cowboys.
Cowboys. Yeah.
Not the Colts. Sorry, I was meant to see. Cowboys, I would say, is an excusable tie. I would call that an excusable tie. You're on the road in Jerry World. You're playing the best offense in the league. Okay.
I would say no, because that was a huge game for Micah Parsons, and he did basically nothing. If he had a bigger impact and it was still a tie, then yeah, I guess that's fine. But I think ideally, if he had like 2 or 3 more sacks, they probably would have won that game. That's all I'll say about that.
Yeah. So.
And I'll just say this.
Those 2 aren't.
I'll cut you off right here real quick. And this is a quick thing at Micah Parsons. I know Micah Parsons pretty well, professional Cowboys hater in my division, one of the better pass rushers in the league since he stepped in. But he's just kind of one of those guys that doesn't really rise to big moments. You look at his stats, he shrinks in the playoffs, he doesn't play well in big games. He's kind of I don't want to say bad team merchant, but he shows his dominance against teams that he should dominate against. he just hasn't really shown up in those big moments. I think that's kind of some of the reasoning Jerry Jones used when offloading him. Regardless, I'm just saying that's Micah Parsons as a player. Until he can prove that otherwise, that's just who he is to me. Jordan Love is also kind of that player to me. You look at his playoff performances. He had that one good run, was it 2 years ago? They beat the Cowboys and had a very good game against the 49ers. Ultimately, his defense failed him. But outside of those 2 games, his playoff performance, and granted, it's not a huge sample size, but it's not great. And you just, like you mentioned, all the problems. You have some of the best players that at their position on that team, and they just can't get it done. It all comes down to coaching. And I'm not saying Matt LaFleur is a bad coach by any way. We all know, if you pay attention to this channel, how important offensive and defensive coordinators are to some teams, depending on how their head coach operates. But all these other spots, linebackers coach, receivers coach, safeties coach, DBs coach, I guess those are the same thing, but whatever. It probably isn't working out. I mean, that's really the only explanation when you have this much talent on a roster and it's not coming together. Because, like you said, they had an amazing start to the season. They beat the Lions. Great opening start to the season. Beat the Commanders. Lost to the Browns. Tied the Cowboys. You barely beat the Bengals. I won't say barely. You won by. Is that let me do 9 points. Yeah, so 2-score game. I'll give you that one, but you barely beat the Cardinals, and then you lost to you beat the Steelers, and I'll give you that one. That was a big game. That was, what was it? Obviously not Jake Ferguson. Who am I thinking of? Their tight end, Tucker Kraft. Yeah, Tucker Kraft had a big game that week. Obviously went down this week. Prayers up to him. That is going to be a big loss for them. But yeah, you're at home playing the Carolina Panthers, who have been struggling this season. And granted, they've shown flashes of getting hot and being on a team that can upset teams. But again, like you said, this is what you thought would be one of the better rosters of football, and they're just not playing like it.
The biggest thing for me, the Packers right now this season, is their defense is top 5 in yards, top 7 in pass, top 4 in rush. I think they're 6th in points, and yet they're 5-2-1. So I could see even 5-3. Biggest thing to look for the rest of the season, you still have all but one of your divisional games. You played that Lions at home, which was week 1, that big win, but you still have both the Vikings games, both the Bears games, and Ford Field left. So this is when you really, truly solidify where you're going to be, and it all starts Monday Night Football against the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Big game. That one is where you solidify yourself as either, in my opinion, a contender or a pretender.
Yeah, I fully agree. Yeah, and then there are other 3 games outside of those, their division games. They play the Giants. They should win that, but we'll see. The Broncos in Mile High. We'll see how the Broncos still look at that point in the season, but if they're still good, then that might be a challenge. And then second to last game of the season, you're playing a Lamar Jackson-led Ravens who might be fighting for a playoff spot, and that's definitely not when you want to play him. So, yeah. We'll see what happens next week, but that'll probably be when we can decide if the Packers are good or not, and if that trade was worth it or not.
Correct.
But let's move on. Jaguars Raiders.
Trade, I don't think you can grade just yet. Raiders.
You have to wait till at least the Cowboys use the picks, but
yes.
But it's also if the Packers don't win anything with him, then it's not that bad for the Cowboys regardless. So, Jaguars Raiders.
Jaguars trade for Jacoby Myers. Agree or disagree?
Oh yeah, we forgot to talk about that too. Shoot. I like it with Travis Hunter being on IR. Especially since they have no idea apparently what they want to do with Brian Thomas Jr. in the future. I don't know how those are even thoughts, but I'm not in that building, so I won't say anything. But
Luka Doncic.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's good. You get a reliable guy for Trevor Lawrence to throw the ball to. We saw he probably could have used one this weekend. I think it's a good trade.
Now, here's my thoughts. Jags have the bye. Colts have not had the bye. Okay. Or actually, yes, that is what happened. Jags have had the bye. They played 8. Colts have had 9. Jags are technically 1 loss away from the Colts. So I like the trade because you're putting yourself in a wild card position and you're putting yourself in a race for the pull of the AFC South. I think the Colts will pull it out because it is such a weak schedule for Indianapolis. But Jacksonville, 5-3 team. You look at some of their wins they have.
Very,
At the
very
Niners,
impressive.
that's a good win. Texans, decent win. Chiefs is a really good win. Only thing that concerns me is your losses are against better opponents. So Seahawks, Rams, Bengals was a tough loss. They honestly should have won that game.
Mhm.
But other than that, you still have 2 games against the Colts. You still have a couple division games left. You still have both against the Titans. I like this team to be in the playoffs. It's kind of
Yeah,
crazy.
I do
like
too.
them to be in the playoffs.
Trevor Lawrence has to keep this consistent play up. He
Yes.
can't take another dive like it has been in years past, and the run game needs to stay consistent. But yes, this team still has a very good defense. I like what Liam Cohen's been doing a lot. Yeah, no, I fully agree. This is a playoff caliber team, especially with just how the rest of the AFC looks this year.
What scares me though is the AFC. The AFC has a kind of the AFC has a little bit of a big tumble. Okay. And that is from the 8 to 9 spot. You go from a 5-4 team to a 3-5 team. And the Jags are 7. They're just in. The Chiefs are 8. Okay.
Mhm.
Above the Jags are the Chargers, Bills, Steelers. Well, above the Jags are the Chargers and the Bills. I think the Chargers are the only team out of those two that can drop. I think the Bills are the playoff lock out of those. And then your division, you're just fighting against the Colts. Now, the wild card to me is a little bit tougher because not only do you have the Bills, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Ravens are now going to be one of those teams you're going to compete with.
Mhm.
So it's a tough risk for the Jags, but I think a necessary one to take. It feels like the first time in a while we can say, Jags, you are on the pedal to make the playoffs. So you might as well go in.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, we'll move on. Don't need to spend much time on this game. Saints, Rams.
Rams get the job done,
Yep.
as we expect.
And game of the week, Bills, Chiefs.
First time Mahomes has looked really bad this year. And that
Mhm.
speaks volumes for the Bills defense. Get it done. Again, I expect that's what I picked Bills to win. And honestly, not totally surprised.
Yeah, they usually win in the regular season. Yeah, 15 for 34, interception. Yeah. Wasn't great for the. We know, and again, I know that Chiefs defense is really good, but I did want to see a little more, I guess, just from Josh Allen. He did fine, but I don't know. I guess when you have that many 3-and-outs, I guess I just want to see when you have that many stops, I guess I just want to see the game not be as close. But James Cook, still one of the league's best, over 100 rushing yards. Josh Allen, only 3 incomplete passes. A lot of tush pushes, though. So, but we'll see. Even if they rematch in the playoffs this year, like you said, the Chiefs are not in playoff position right now. Feels weird saying that they'll miss it, so we'll just go ahead and assume that they'll probably call back in somehow. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that definitely an uncharacteristically bad game from Patrick Mahomes, except when they needed him. That 4th and 17 was pretty crazy. I can't even lie, but
yeah. But did you see the clip of Joey Bosa?
Yeah, because he thought it was a screen. He got off so fast.
Yeah, it's like, bro, what? Just go kill Mahomes, man.
A good heads up play though. If he thought the ball was about to fly right past his head, he could have maybe jump picked it. So way to be aware. He had a big sack in that game, late game. So I can't be too mad at him. They won. So moving right along, Sunday Night Football. Boy, did we get a good one.
Sam Darnold.
I think that game was over in the first quarter.
Shit was over in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
God damn.
Commanders, better luck next year.
Yeah, especially because Jane Daniels' arm went the other direction. So
yeah. Why was he in?
As a Falcons fan, I can tell you. Dan Quinn's your head coach.
Exactly. But yeah, looking towards next season, Commanders got a lot to rebuild. That defense is old. And yeah, Frankie Louvu got suspended too. So
Yep.
El Bozo. And I guess we'll wrap it all up with Monday Night Football. Well, there's one more thing I want to talk about, but Monday Night Football.
Jacoby Brissett is officially the starter of the Cardinals. That was just
Yep.
named about 10 minutes ago.
Yep.
And deservedly should be.
Mm-hmm.
Which this game made me, how do I say this? We all understand how much Jerry sucks, okay? Jerry Jones is not a good owner.
Mm-hmm.
This game made the Quinnen Williams trade today so much more
Stupid.
questionable. I mean,
No,
stupid.
just say it
Said
how it
best.
is. Yeah, stupid.
Stupid. Absolutely foolish. You let me just say this first of all. Have you seen what the NFC looks like?
I can pull it up right now, but I know they're not
got
in any
you.
sort of
Your
playoff contention.
7th seed is the Detroit Lions at 5-3. Your 8th seed, the Bears at 5-3. Your Panthers are 5-4. Your Vikings are 4-4, and the Cowboys are 3-5 and 1, sitting at 11. Now we look at this. You look at the standings,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna say it straight up. I do not see the Philadelphia Eagles falling out of the NFC East. I think that is their crown.
Please don't
Unless
say
something
that.
crazy happens.
Stop talking.
That is their crown.
Okay.
The Giants aren't going to do anything. The Commanders aren't going to do anything. And the Cowboys are not going to do anything with that defense.
The
So,
NFC East has not had a repeat winner since 2004 and 2005.
and this is the year. Everything is going your way in terms of the other teams' injuries. This is
Sure.
your year.
Don't forget 2023 though.
But you look at this NFC.
Mm-hmm.
You look at Seattle. They're the current division leaders. But you still have the Niners and the Rams right on their tails, right?
We're going to talk about that in a minute, but yeah.
Which means you'll probably have 2 NFC West teams in the wild card, right? Which then you look at this as well. The Packers, 4 seed, you have 2 NFC North teams right on the tails of the wild card who are pushing that Packers team.
And let's be 1,000% honest here. Carolina.
I don't have Carolina contending with the Bucs.
I'm not saying they're winning that division, but they might sneak in that 7 seed.
But here's what I'm saying.
Oh, talking about the Cowboys. Cowboys season's over. They suck.
Those are 4 teams.
Yeah,
we understand what you think, Cowboys. I'm just trying to be a little more rational voice here.
Okay.
Those are 4 teams where you could honestly be like, yeah, they're going to make the playoffs. And then you go to the Cowboys schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
You play the Raiders on the road. Okay. Jags had a little bit of a tough time, but you expect to win. Here's your next 5 games. Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, Vikings, Chargers.
Another season's over. Yeah, it makes no sense why, because that first round pick you essentially gave the Jets is going to be a top 10 pick. It's next year. Still, it's going to be a top 10 pick. This is a team that is not on the upward; it's on the downward. Dak Prescott's probably got a year left, if anything. Yeah, offensive line's got issues. Defense, not good. It's one of the worst in the leagues. I don't know what Quinnen Williams is going to do to fill it up. Even after they have 2 new defensive tackles this year. I think Logan Wilson might be impactful for them, but that's not like a premier edge rusher like Jerry Jones said he was going out to get. I just don't think that this defense is going to turn anything around. We know the offense is capable of playing at a high level, but yeah. The only 2 bright spots really from the season so far have been Brandon Aubrey and Javonte Williams. I guess you could throw Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb in there, but they haven't always been the best. This season's over for the Cowboys. Again, I don't know why we're trading our future away for win now players after you already traded away Micah Parsons for future picks. Like you said, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's old. He's senile. He's dumb. I genuinely don't know what you're doing trading away draft capital for a guy who's about to be 30. Like, seriously. When you just traded away probably the top 3 edge rusher in the league. That makes no sense. Like, genuinely no sense.
Anyways, yes. Just doesn't make sense to me either. And Jerry Jones went on SiriusXM and said sometimes he makes trades just so the Cowboys name could be in the media.
Oh, yeah.
And That's why your owner should not have control of your team. But we know we've been over this millions of times, Baron, especially you. We know how much you like to passionately talk about the Cowboys just because you're a rival fan, but also you like to point out the inconsistencies and all that. So,
Well, Jerry
we've been over
Jones,
this
he's
for
a good
while.
he's a good owner for the business side of football. He's not a good owner
Correct.
in terms of football. It's on the football side of football.
Correct.
And in order to have a successful team, you need both. So,
Yeah, he is not.
or honestly, in my personal opinion, if you have an owner and general manager who care more about the football side of the whole thing than the business side, then the business side will take care of itself.
Correct, because if you win games, people will buy tickets, they'll buy jerseys, they'll buy all that. So
And you'll gather more fans and more markets, people bandwagon over. Yeah. You create good rosters, the fans will follow. I promise. You don't need to just make trades to get your fans excited, because any real fan knows that trade means nothing. But I thought we could finish this episode. We talked a lot about the AFC playoff standings, and we briefly covered the NFC. But the NFC West especially is easily the league's best division. Granted, the Cardinals are sub 500, but they're starting to look like they're on the rise. They had a very good performance last night. Brooks, who do you have coming out of this division?
I still have the Los Angeles Rams coming out of this division.
Mm-hmm.
I still think they're the best built team. I think both. I can see a pathway where the Seahawks and Niners cool down much more effectively and easily than the Rams. So I have the Rams coming out of this division. And I'll continue to say that probably unless the division is clinched or the division is way out of reach.
I would probably say the Seahawks. And granted, I know it was a one kind of game, but Sam Darnold against the Commanders looked elite. His receivers looked elite. And we know that this defense is capable of playing like a top 5 unit. They just made the big trade for Jacoby Myers, like you said. I agree. I think it really opens up the deep ball game, which will also help Njigba and Cooper Kupp in the short game and medium game. So I think once you finally unlock all levels of this passing game and they keep this run game going, I think they need to get Kenneth Walker more involved. But if they can get that going, I mean, I think this is their kind of division to lose, honestly. I think they have the easier schedule going forward. And, yeah, I like the head-to-head matchup they have with the Rams personally as well. So we'll see how it ends. I do think the 49ers will start to cool off at some point. I think the injuries will catch up to them. But the Cardinals, do you think they even finish above 500 now that Jacoby Brissett leading the charge?
No.
No?
It's not built enough. Not a good enough football team to build to be 500.
I don't know. They have a pretty good defense, and if that offense can get it going, catch some fire, like I said, they probably have an easy schedule as well.
No, they don't. They don't have an easy schedule.
Never mind. Then.
You want to hear their games?
No.
Okay. I'll just let you know they're not going to finish 500.
That's fine.
In order to finish, well, there's no such thing as 500 now because we have an odd number of games.
Well, unless you
Are they going to have 9 wins?
Maybe. I don't think so.
No, because they have 3. In order to get 9 wins, they need to be 6-3 in the next games. At Seattle versus 49ers versus Jaguars, at Buccaneers versus Rams, at Texans. Even the Falcons, I think, can give them some trouble. At Rams, at Bengals, those are tough games. And I don't think they're going to go 6-3 on that stretch.
It's football. You never know.
True. That is true. Well, Baron, anything else you want to add?
Not at the moment.
Trade deadline, week 9, back on the grind. That'll be another episode of Nothing Agreed. Thank you all so much for listening. What are y'all opinions on the trades? Let us know down in the comments, and peace.